My gambling career started very young. Well, first of all, I guess I should start. I'm a compulsive disordered pathological gambler. I grew up in a place that most people have heard of, one of the boroughs in New York, the Bronx. Gambling was normalized for me growing up, not only because of where I live. Maybe, the holiday season just passed. There was always the holiday card games. I recall growing up as a kid, I couldn't wait till I graduated to the adult table because they were playing with real currency, dollars, the aunts and uncles, whatever. And I just gravitated to it. I grew up in an era where there was a myriad of things on the street. I just never gravitated to any of those things, but the gambling took hold very young. I was probably started gambling or experimenting gambling when I was 7, 8 years old. Flipping cards, baseball cards, which was prevalent back then, growing up in the 60s, late 70s. My gambling career spanned probably another 30 years. And as I got older, then I graduated to things. By the time I'm in high school, I'm introduced to bookmakers. Illegal bookmakers where you would call up and I would say so-and-so referred me, and they would let me bet on anything that I wanted to. Being athletic at the time, I thought I knew all this information, and this was easy money. Unfortunately for the person such as myself that develops a serious gambling addiction, a gambling problem, it's not entertainment. It's about the money, it's about the high, it's about the rush. Not that I recognized all those things back then, so even there were times where I would go on winning streaks, and when I'd make substantial amounts of money, I wouldn't stop then. It was fun. I thought it was fun. I didn't know anything else. It became the primary focus of my life. I describe it as everything else in my life was secondary. Somehow I got my education. Somehow I met someone, got married, and had a family. And they were affected by all of this. I tortured my family. Not physically, I wasn't a physically abusive person, but the psychological and emotional damage. I'm grateful they landed on their feet. For the person that has a serious problem with gambling, specifically with sports betting, the big game is viewed as most, if not all. And I shouldn't say all, because most are in the hole. Or they're down. They've lost money during the football season. Because whatever scheme they've come up with, meaning that I'm only going to bet on the home underdogs, maybe those will work. But you don't have the ability or I didn't have the ability to stick with that plan. That went out the window by week 3. If I even if I got to week 3, and then I'm only going to bet one game a weekend. By the 3rd or 4th week of the season, you're betting every game that's kicking off, right? So here comes the big game, and you're looking to recoup your dollars. And whatever it may be, whatever the dollar amount may be, no matter how small or big, and usually it's probably large and a substantial amount of money, and money is relative, I understand that, or what you have access to, whether you're getting it legally, illegally, tapping out your credit cards, draining the bank account, taking it from your kid's college fund, you're going to ride all of it on the big game because you're convinced that you're going to make back all your money. Gamblers, especially those that develop serious gambling issues, gambling addictions, famous for making the next statement. How did you do today? How did you do during the season? I broke even. Why do it? When I think about it today, if your goal is just to break even. And then if you have that individual which is in the minority, I'll express it this way, that have made some money from gambling or betting on sporting, specifically football, and we'll say, I'm just going to throw an arbitrary number out there, $1,000. They're not going to say, well, I'm just going to bet $500 on the big game. So regardless of the outcome, I'm still going to be plus 500 for the entire football season. The mindset is I'm going to ride at minimum the entire $1,000, if not more, on the outcome of the big game. I'm grateful on many levels that I've been away from the bet for coming up on a couple of decades, almost 20 years, because the world that we live in today, with technology, online gambling, live betting, I don't know, it's amazing. It really is that you can bet, is the next putt going to be made? Is the next pitch going to be a strike? Is the next play going to be a run or a pass? Is it going to be completed? The myriad of options today, it just really does amaze me. And I know there's a lot of people, and I'm hoping that hopefully my story will help some other individual to avoid many of the pitfalls. 800Gambler is a resource that helps individuals that develop serious gambling disorders, gambling addictions. They have a website called 800Gambler.org. There's literature, resources. What they strongly suggest is attendance to the Fellowship of Gamblers Anonymous. They offer therapeutic clinical services. They've partnered with providers, which are clinicians, therapists that have credentials as compulsive gambling counselors, where you can go and get counseling on an individual basis. And again, I'll tie this into not only for the person that develops the problem themselves, but as I mentioned earlier, the entire family structure is affected. So family members need services also. They benefit from the therapy that's offered. I needed to get the help that I got because I couldn't do it on my own. There were times where I tried to stop cold turkey, meaning I tried to do it on myself. I said, this has to stop. I can't do it. I think the longest stretch that I can recall I had was maybe a month, 30 days, where I didn't gamble at all. When a person develops a problem and it gets to the point where they feel there's no way out, they really don't know where to turn. Sometimes the family member is instrumental in getting them the help.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a gambling problem, please call or text 800-GAMBLER for 24/7 confidential support, treatment, and hope.